Listen carefully, chosen one, for what I'm about to tell you isn't appropriate for everyone. This is the awakening of the chosen, and my name is Gabriel. It's not by accident that you're here. Don't you feel different? Like you can see things that others can't. This is due to the fact that you were bestowed with a unique and potent gift that is both advantageous and hazardous. A present that has to be safeguarded at all costs. I'll explain in this video why your talent is so precious, why it has to be kept secret, and what happens to those who find out. But be advised that there is no going back once you discover the truth. Stay with me through to the finish if you're prepared to accept your actual mission. What follows will only make sense to those who have been fully awakened. Are you prepared? The idea that being selected is not a random occurrence, but rather a part of a greater scheme, a complex sequence of circumstances that leads us to find a divine vocation, is intriguing. So let's get started. Imagine. It is not by accident that you are here. Your being in the world has a greater meaning, a thread that ties its existence to a larger scheme that will soon come to light. I completely agree that we all possess information that not everyone can access. This gift we are given, this secret wisdom, is like a holy treasure that has to be handled with the utmost care and respect. It might make you feel alone when you have a different perspective on the world. But this isn't just a coincidence. This sensation serves as a subliminal but potent reminder of the special nature of its call. I've always thought that possessing such information carries a sacred obligation. It is not something that needs to be spread carelessly. The ability to distinguish is essential. Not everyone is prepared to comprehend or bear the consequences of your truth. This brings to mind how crucial it is to trust your instincts, particularly when they are led by something greater than yourself. For me, spirituality has always been a path that is both individual and communal. Expressing gratitude to community members is more than simply a formality. It is the understanding that many of us find strength in one another as we travel this route. Our drive to comprehend and realize a higher purpose unites us. Knowing that we are not traveling alone provides us with a great deal of solace and a newfound strength to tackle the difficulties that come with this unique awareness. I've known all my life that we all possess a risky, secret, but profoundly meaningful gift. This gift not only sets us apart, but it also determines how our lives will unfold. Uncovering one's own potential and beginning the journey towards the wide unknown that awaits each selected person begins with accepting this gift. I believe that as we open this world, we embark on a journey of self-discovery, facing obstacles that mold our personalities and validate our special place in the divine realm. It is difficult to accept this call. It calls for bravery in the face of uncertainty, tenacity in the face of difficulty, and, most importantly, trust and confidence in our own purpose. Knowing that we were selected to follow this road has an unfathomable beauty. Understanding our individuality releases us from the bonds of uncertainty and anxiety, exposing inner truths that align with the universe's knowledge. This view exhorts us to live in accordance with divine design and behave with purpose, in the hopes that others will be motivated by our example. It is both frightening and freeing to think that every action we do and every decision we make adds to the enormous mosaic of our future. This places the responsibility on us for living a genuine life, developing discernment, and sharing our experiences with those who are looking for their purpose in life. Every selected individual who answers this call adds their own light to the planet, enhancing the fabric carpet for life with bravery and elegance. We ask them to identify a persistent inner voice that is impossible to ignore. This exhortation to go into the unknown serves as a potent reminder that life is about more than meets the eye. It is intriguing to think about how this inner voice reverberates in the soul and transforms into a heavenly affirmation that motivates us to look for a greater purpose. Many of us who are on this spiritual quest may relate to this definite sense of being drawn to something more. I've thought about how the difficulties we encounter in life may be seen as tuning instruments. They mold us and get us ready to see what is still out of our direct line of sight. This viewpoint makes it seem as if every challenge was an opportunity to hone spiritual vision to something more profound and important. I'm often fascinated by the distinction between the selected ones and others' worldviews. There is a reason for this discrepancy. The world seems to light differently to individuals who are touched by a heavenly spark. This distinct perspective is a gift as well as a duty. It makes it possible for us to see clearly where there was previously just uncertainty. It may be a burden too, since many others in our immediate vicinity could not comprehend or perhaps be afraid of this vision. What is consoling, nevertheless, is the assurance that we are supported by the promise of divine protection, even in situations when others fail to recognize or appreciate this gift. In light of the exhortation to bravely answer the call, I believe this to be a very potent message. Traveling in reality, even if it means traveling a lonely route, is a struggle that calls for courage and a great deal of self-reflection. Accepting this task is an act of sincerity as well as bravery. In times of loneliness, it is crucial to keep in mind that this stage is necessary to get the heart and mind ready for a deeper knowledge and acknowledgement of the essence of the gift that each selected person possesses. We are constantly urged to consider our actual purpose on this trip. This reminds me of the reasons we were selected, what sets us apart from others, and how we may make the most of this gift. It serves as a continual reminder that despite all the unknowns, every one of us was put here for a cause larger than ourselves, with unique and unmatched qualities. We may find the courage to stay faithful to the call that has been given to us if we approach this journey with thankfulness. This invitation requires a persistent willingness to explore our inner selves and look for the real significance of our experiences. In my opinion, this process of self-reflection helps us gain clarity and a deeper understanding of the nature of the talent we possess. Many of us who have been selected have had times when we have wondered what our true purpose is, yet these times are a necessary part of the journey that has been given to us. They push us to examine ourselves and find realities that lie beyond appearances. The so-called inner also motivates us to reject illusions and masks that we may have developed over the years and live in accordance with our actual selves. This calls for a sincere dedication to the truth, as well as the willingness to embrace whatever we discover along the way. In my opinion, this is an ongoing call to embrace our true selves rather than trying to fit in with what other people think we should be. For us to properly utilize our talent and become agents of good change in the world, this alignment is essential. The intricacy of our problems stands in stark contrast to the simplicity of this appeal. Accepting this task still helps us realize that each step we take on the road of truth puts us one step closer to our true selves. This path is full with life-changing insights, even if it might be lonely at times. Each of those selected may draw strength from their own fortitude, the support of those who have similar beliefs, and the assurance that we are being led by a higher power. Our soul is strengthened by this faith in the divine call, which enables us to meet challenges with an attitude of thankfulness and openness. I really think that we can have a meaningful and inspirational impact on other people's life when we totally embrace our cause. When we become aware of the influence we may have, the path transforms from a personal quest for meaning to a dedication to spreading love and light across the globe. Every day is a fresh chance to get closer to our mission and rediscover what it means to be a chosen one. Even while the journey may be fraught with difficulties, it also serves as evidence of the amazing opportunities that arise when we are in harmony with the inner urge. By believing in this call, we are able to rise beyond constraints and lead lives that are not only genuine, but also profoundly meaningful, adding in a unique and priceless manner to the vast fabric of human existence. As a precious gift, discernment goes beyond the mere capacity to choose between good and evil. The selected can see truth beyond appearances, thanks to their spiritual ability. I've always thought of discernment as a kind of subtle vision, like having an acute sense of hearing to hear what is not being uttered, or sensing something that other people seldom ever notice. A spiritual gem, this depth of insight is a whisper of the Spirit that lights our path in often surprising ways. However, the weight of this view could feel too much to bear. At first, it might seem like a great burden to be responsible for seeing beyond the world's shadows and identifying the hidden reality. We seem to be carrying a piece of heavenly truth that both directs us and sets us apart from other people. This distinction may sometimes lead us down a lonely road that few others can relate to or comprehend. The assurance that this vision is, in reality, a proof of a larger divine plan, however, is consoling. This gift has overtones of preparedness and protection. This realization always makes me think of how well Jesus conducted his life. As I consider the biblical instances, I find that Jesus looked beyond what seemed to be the obvious and dug deeper to understand people's hearts and intentions. This caring view was deeply based in love and spiritual truth and transcended outward appearances. This model serves as a reminder that discernment should be used to guide, protect, and cure people, rather than to pass judgment on them. It's crucial to consider how to utilize this talent most effectively. To make sure that this gift is used as a tool for edifying, it is critical to match our discernment with God's will. This entails using this viewpoint to uplift and enlighten, rather than harm or divide. Finding applications for discernment that benefit others and advance a greater comprehension of divine love, in my opinion, is where its real power resides. We learn the value of patience and humility from discernment as well. This talent is about being willing to listen and learn, not about being superior or smarter than others. Every selected individual is urged to use this insight selflessly, always pursuing the greatest benefit. We may assist in dispelling illusions and bringing more light and truth to the world by connecting with this aspect of ourselves that knows and sees beyond. Ultimately, discernment is a lifelong process of self-discovery that calls for commitment, patience, and a window of opportunity to be guided by a higher power. To make sure we stay focused on our actual mission, it is essential to acknowledge the part and impact we play. This close relationship with God gives us all the resources we need to live truly and work together to build a world ruled by love and truth. In addition to improving our own lives, our dedication to this goal encourages those around us to pursue their own truth and insight. Our relationships are greatly impacted by discernment, which shows itself as a gift that enables us to see the hidden meanings in other people's words, actions, and intentions. This talent, in my opinion, is a gift that enables us to look beyond outward appearances and illuminates what is often buried. As I think about this, I recall how Jesus showed this insight in his dealings, such as the well-known encounter with the wicked woman. There, Jesus responded with grace and compassion that went beyond passing judgment, choosing instead to concentrate on the woman's heart and genuine purpose, rather than being swayed by the Pharisees' quiet condemnation. We may see the truth and see beyond the apparent when we use discernment. There is also a significant issue with this talent. It's difficult to strike a balance between showing love and sympathy and acknowledging the shortcomings of others. This calls for a careful balancing act between acknowledging the other person's reality and extending forgiveness and mercy. Discrimination, in my opinion, enables us to negotiate the intricate relationships between people in a manner that promotes recovery and reconciliation. But I am aware that the discerning process may sometimes be isolating. We often have to cope with miscommunication and maybe even rejection from those who don't share our vision. This is both a challenge and a chance for spiritual development. It is essential that we use our insights to direct conversations and create compassionate bridges as we go down this journey. Instead of being a source of isolation, discernment could be an invitation to change and connection. Since we have the capacity to motivate people to take action and undergo transformation through discernment, we must take responsibility for becoming more profound conduits of love and understanding. It is a means of serving and assisting our fellow humans in discovering their own truth. Divine love is the fundamental foundation of discernment. Only prayer and sincere desire may bring about this type of enlightenment. We are reminded as we develop this gift that it exists for the benefit of everybody, and that every encounter is a chance to make this holy knowledge visible. In my opinion, we are expected to apply discernment to improve our relationships and discover new, authentic, and unconditional forms of love. By using discernment in this manner, we have the power to change not only our own lives, but also the lives of everyone around us, leaving a lasting impression rooted in divine knowledge and compassion. We have the chance to develop deeper and more genuine connections by exercising discernment. We can relate to others more authentically when we have the capacity to look behind the masks we often wear. As we consider how we use this gift in our day-to-day encounters, we must never forget how crucial it is to approach them with an open mind and a spirit that seeks to comprehend rather than pass judgment. This position aids in establishing a safe and trusting atmosphere where individuals may be themselves without hesitation or fear. Every circumstance and every connection has important lessons to teach us, according to the knowledge of discernment. One of our biggest duties as spiritual beings is to be able to identify these teachings and use them to encourage healing. We are urged to explore deeper, see beyond the obvious, and act in accordance with the reality they discover. This does not imply disregarding the problems or obstacles that come up, but rather approaching them from a viewpoint that aims for understanding and reconciliation. This is how we go in the direction of divine love, utilizing our discernment to light the path for others as well as ourselves. Discrimination serves as our beacon as we navigate the often choppy seas of interpersonal relationships. He leads us, shields us from unjustified criticism, and supports us in maintaining our spiritual purity. We are keeping in mind that this gift is best used when it is shared, when it serves as a bridge that connects and transforms, even if it may seem simpler to keep us inside our own knowledge at times. In addition to confirming our own inner truths, this practice of imparting discernment to others encourages self-assurance and candor. It is reasonable to believe that discernment may overcome any obstacles that may exist between individuals when it is based on genuine love. It is a highly effective tool for destroying the sense of alienation and creating a society where compassion and empathy are the main motivators. It is evident that discernment gives us the ability to set an example by acting in a way that shows that every connection has the capacity to be a manifestation of divine love. We are reminded to prioritize love, understanding, and truth in every encounter. It is clear from examining the function of discernment in our lives that it is a duty that has to be handled with respect, rather than only being a gift. We must continue to nurture it with great care, making sure that its expressions are always for the benefit of society as a whole. We may utilize this priceless talent to play lives, foster peace, and eventually live in accordance with the divine purpose that invites us and nourishes us at every moment if we practice prayer, meditation, and have a clear objective. Often, the discernment process is a solitary one. Being able to see beyond appearances might make the selected person feel alone, since others may find it difficult to understand their observations. But rather than being a burden, this sense of loneliness is an essential component of his spiritual purpose. I recall biblical characters like the prophet Elijah, who also had solitary paths. Before God reminded him that he was not alone, he felt alone in his quest for the truth and thought he was the only one who would not fall for falsehoods. This reminds me that there is a heavenly presence that never abandons us, even when we are alone. People with the talent of discernment sometimes hesitate to disclose their visions because of the widespread impression of them. It might be difficult to overcome the fear of being misunderstood or dismissed. But rather than being a burden, this condition of seclusion offers a chance for spiritual development. It is a call to trust in one's own instincts and the omnipresent heavenly guidance. Being able to see what others do not see is just one aspect of discernment. It is also a skill that helps us avoid making errors. God gave it to us as a gift because He knew we had the capacity to handle Him with grace and wisdom. Remembering that we are only following in the footsteps of several enlightened souls who have gone before us, this vision encourages us to bravely accept the truth that we detect. It becomes evident while reflecting on this trip that discernment involves more than just acute observation. It is an exhortation to utilize this power to safeguard not only ourselves, but also everyone around us. By letting our views guide us, we not only improve our own lives, but also provide others with an enlightening perspective. Maintaining steadfastness in intent is a duty while using discernment well. We are in line with Jesus' example when we assess people's hearts with love and knowledge rather than judgment, as He handled all of their dealings with compassion. This makes me realize that we all have the capacity to see profoundly in our lives, and that we may use that same capacity to illuminate others. Even though this way seems to be the least taken, when we pursue it, we become closer to the divine purpose that God has given us. The spiritual path requires us to experience the loneliness that comes with possessing the gift of discernment. It serves as a reminder that, despite appearances, we are never really alone. God is ever present, offering us direction and protection so that we may carry out the mission for which we were called. I want everyone to understand that discernment is a loving and helpful act that enables the selected to follow Jesus' compassionate and perceptive example by bringing clarity and enlightenment to the world. Knowing that we are carrying out a great and heavenly role by lighting the way with unfathomable love and knowledge gives us courage. Putting discernment into practice is a process that starts inside and moves purposefully and intentionally outside into the world. Through discernment, we may look behind outward manifestations, uncover underlying realities, and sense the spiritual wind's direction. But only when we transform these insights into deeds that demonstrate the wisdom and love of God can they realize their full potential. This change requires a deep realization that the information we have gained is meant to be shared responsibly and tenderly, not to be kept a secret. We may really actualize the light we get by doing these things, which will heal and provide hope to others around us. Jesus is a profound illustration of the process of turning insight into action. His insight, which was always guided by compassion and truth, was reflected in his teachings and healing. When used with the goal of offering direction, particularly when uncertainty looms, this spiritual ability becomes a potent instrument for development. Scripture demonstrates how Jesus changed his perspectives into life-changing interventions, encouraging everyone around him to pursue their own inner truths. As a result, discernment becomes a tool for both self-improvement and bringing about constructive change in the world. In this process, it is essential to act with trust and bravery. By urging us to step in and change things, either verbally or physically, discernment pushes us to action, to ensure that whatever we do really represents the divine nature we are trying to portray. This necessitates that every discernible action be thoroughly justified by moral and ethical norms. Therefore, we must make choices based on love rather than judgment, which requires a constant dedication to coordinating our desires with the greatest benefit. When it comes to using discernment effectively, prayer and meditation are crucial foundations. To be sure that God, not just human impulses, is guiding our acts, this closeness to the divine link is necessary. We can only be directed to behave in accordance with the divine purpose that is revealed to us via a close relationship with the Creator. In addition to providing clarity, this guarantees that the interventions we carry out are grounded in something much bigger than our own constrained desires and viewpoints. Prayer and ongoing spiritual practice help us stay balanced and enable every action we perform to be a true expression of this higher calling. We have the chance to have a good influence on our communities when we take on the duty of putting our discernment into practice. Only when we allow our discernment to be properly directed can we have this impact, becoming genuine beacons of light in the dark. Since we are expected to be spiritual leaders who light the path to justice, truth, and love in the world, reverence is essential in this duty. Those with the gift of discernment have the great responsibility of expressing this insight with humility and grace in a world where many others are looking for guidance. Their deeds provide as a striking example of the divine presence at work on earth. It is impossible to overstate the significance of the community for people who possess the gift of discernment. Even though this gift's specific road might often appear lonely, it is very relieving to encounter other individuals who are traveling the same path. In addition to providing priceless emotional support, the mutual understanding and respect that evolve in these relationships also provide a wealth of opportunities for spiritual development. Communities based on this spiritual sensitivity provide a haven where each member is given newfound inspiration and strength. There are many examples throughout history of religious organizations and spiritual groups that established support systems that allowed individuals to thrive despite difficult circumstances. These groups provide the bravery and safety needed to share experiences, both successes and setbacks, and learn from one another. This brings us to an important point. We must actively look for spiritual support networks or even start our own. These kinds of organizations are more beneficial when they are made up of people who not only have the same goals, but also push one another to develop and live according to themselves. The variety of viewpoints within the group serves to further reinforce this authenticity. The community becomes more robust and smart as a result of the many viewpoints and experiences that enhance the group's grasp of discernment. The selected ones have the remarkable capacity to encourage beneficial effects on their broadest surroundings when they get together. These astute people work together for reasons other than personal gain. When they work together, they become change agents who can provide clarity and make decisions in seemingly difficult or unsolvable circumstances. The breadth and efficacy of discernment into action are increased when many spiritual talents are combined in a same endeavor. The selected ones' communities serve purposes beyond only their members' well-being. It is their duty to represent the love and oneness of God in the settings in which they are placed. Its purpose is to provide as a live example of the effectiveness of discernment when paired with a shared faith. These organizations may successfully bring God's love and hope into the world via courageous and intentional cooperation. The selected ones discover their real expression in this group endeavor, showcasing the results of operating in concert and exercising collective judgment. They may really make a difference in a society that often lacks spiritual clarity because of their collaboration, which is a physical manifestation of a divine summons. Every gathering of the chosen ones is a chance to deepen their bonds and intensify their efforts to work together for a common goal. For people who want to have a good effect on their communities and mankind, this call for collective action is not only a wish, it is a duty. In these spiritual communities, the bonds formed become an unbreakable motivator. These communities' strength is shown by their common religion, shared optimism, and coordinated efforts. When the selected ones band together, they become beacons of hope that shine in the dark and provide a heavenly perspective on what may happen when people join together in the Spirit's name. It is an ongoing call to be profound in your acts, strong in your faith, and fearless in your love. By creating these networks, they ensure that discernment continues to be a crucial and transforming force in the world, in addition to providing their own emotional and spiritual support. The communities of the selected become genuine instruments of divine love via cooperation and solidarity, demonstrating the power and beauty of collective discernment.